In the year 1453, Constantinople stood as the last remnant of the Eastern Roman Empire. For more than 1,000 years, its mighty Theodosian walls had guarded the capital of Byzantium. But by the mid-15th century, the empire was only a fading memory, a single city surrounded by the rising Ottoman Turks. Once the center of a vast Mediterranean realm, Byzantium had been weakened by centuries of wars, crusades, and internal struggles. To the west, the Balkans had fallen to the Ottomans. To the east, Anatolia was already theirs. Constantinople was now an island of Greek culture in an Ottoman sea. Its population, once hundreds of thousands, had fallen to perhaps 50,000, protected by ancient walls but short on men, food, and money. In 1451, a new Ottoman sultan rose to power, Mehmed II, just 19 years old. Ambitious and brilliant, he dreamed of conquering Constantinople and making it his capital, the bridge between Asia and Europe. He immediately began preparations. On the European shore of the Bosporus, he built the massive fortress of Rumeli Hisar, opposite an older Ottoman fort in Asia. Together they cut off the city's access to the Black Sea, isolating it completely. By early 1453, Mehmed gathered one of the largest armies of his time, perhaps 80,000 soldiers, including elite janissaries and Anatolian cavalry. His navy, about 150 ships, blockaded the city by sea. But his most terrifying weapon was new to medieval warfare: the cannon. A Hungarian engineer named Orban built enormous bombards, capable of hurling stone balls that shattered walls thought to be invincible. Inside the city, Emperor Constantine XI Palaiologos prepared to resist. His entire garrison numbered fewer than 7,000 men, mostly Greeks, along with about 2,000 Latin volunteers from Venice and Genoa. Among them was the Genoese commander Giovanni Giustiniani, a veteran soldier who took charge of the land defenses. The defenders repaired crumbling walls, filled moats, and sealed the harbor of the Golden Horn with a massive iron chain. Everyone in the city, priests, citizens, and soldiers, knew that this was a fight for survival. On April 6, 1453, Mehmed's army appeared before the walls. Soon the thunder of cannon fire echoed across the plain. Stone after stone smashed into the outer fortifications. Animated maps would show the Turkish lines closing around the city, camps to the south, batteries to the west, and a fleet cutting off every route of escape. Despite weeks of bombardment, the walls held. Each night the defenders rebuilt what had been destroyed. Greek fire, arrows, and desperate sorties kept the attackers at bay. But Mehmed would not relent. When his ships failed to enter the Golden Horn because of the chain, he launched one of the most audacious maneuvers in history. He ordered dozens of ships hauled over land on greased logs, bypassing the chain entirely. At dawn, the Byzantines watched in disbelief as Ottoman sails appeared inside their own harbor. The siege dragged on for nearly 7 weeks. Hunger, exhaustion, and constant bombardment wore down the defenders. On the night of May 28th, Emperor Constantine gathered his people in the great cathedral of Hagia Sophia. Greeks and Latins prayed together, Orthodox and Catholic, united in one final plea for deliverance. Before dawn on May 29th, Mehmed gave the order to attack. 3 waves of Ottoman troops charged the walls. The first, irregular troops, tested the defenses and died in droves. The second, Anatolian soldiers, pressed the breaches. Finally came the elite janissaries, advancing to the rhythm of drums and horns. During the chaos, Giustiniani was mortally wounded and carried from the walls. His men lost heart. In the confusion, a small gate, the Kirkoporta, was left open. Ottoman troops stormed through, raising their banners on the inner walls. the defenders were overwhelmed. Realizing the city was lost, Emperor Constantine cast aside his imperial regalia and fought to the death. He was never seen again. By sunrise, the banner of the Ottoman Empire flew above the city. After more than 11 centuries, the Eastern Roman Empire was no more. When Mehmed entered Constantinople, he ordered an end to the looting and rode straight to Hagia Sophia. There he prayed and proclaimed the great church a mosque. Constantinople became Istanbul, the new capital of the Ottoman Empire. Across Europe, the news caused shock and despair. To Christians, it was the fall of the last Roman city. To the Ottomans, it was the birth of a new empire that would dominate southeastern Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa for centuries. But the fall also reshaped the world. Greek scholars fleeing west carried priceless manuscripts to Italy, fueling the Renaissance. Trade routes shifted toward the Atlantic, setting the stage for the Age of Exploration. The fall of Constantinople symbolized the end of the Middle Ages and the dawn of modern history. The siege was more than the destruction of a city. It marked the transformation of an era. The walls that had once resisted Persians, Arabs, and Crusaders could not withstand the power of gunpowder. The Empire of Rome had finally fallen, but from its ashes, a new world began to rise.